Let me tell you about a robbery so perfectly engineered, so clean, it was almost lost to history. They called it the crime of the century. And for a long, long time, it really seemed like the perfect crime. See, this wasn't some chaotic smash and grab. There were no alarms, no shots fired, nothing. The entire thing was done with this chilling, almost robotic precision that left the police and even the FBI completely clueless for years. And the prize? Get this. In today's money, we're talking over $30 million. And they grabbed it all in less than 35 minutes. So this is the story of how they did it, and, how it all came crashing down.
Okay, so our story starts in Boston at the Brinks Armored Car Building. Now you gotta understand, at the time, this place was considered a fortress. I mean, one of the most secure buildings in the entire country. Basically, a giant safe that no one in their right mind would even think about challenging.
But there's always one guy, right? One man saw a challenge, not a fortress. Anthony Fats Pino. He was a career criminal from Boston's North End, and he started snooping around the building way back in 1947. He looked at this unbreakable safe and saw the score of a lifetime. He just knew he couldn't do it alone. So Pino starts putting together a team. And I'm not talking about just any team. This was a hand-picked crew of specialists, every single guy with a very particular skill set. This wasn't going to be some rush job. This was going to be an engineering marvel of crime. And what a crew it was. You had Pino, the mastermind, obviously. Joseph McInnes, a total legend in the Boston underworld who everybody respected. For muscle, they brought in Specs O'Keefe and Stanley Gashira. You got Costa as the lookout, Banfield as the driver. It was a real-life Ocean's 11 before that movie was even a thing.
Now, their plan to get past the 5 locked doors guarding the vault, it was brilliant. They didn't use force. No. Over months, they would sneak in, steal just one lock cylinder, get a perfect key made for it, and then they'd sneak back in and put the original lock back. They did this for every single door, leaving absolutely zero trace.
The contrast here is just incredible. I mean, think about it. They spent over 2 years studying schedules, practicing getaway routes, forging those keys, and the actual robbery, it took just 35 minutes. That right there is the definition of meticulous planning. So on the night of the heist, they finally move in. They're all disguised in these navy pea coats, chauffeur caps, and get this, rubber Halloween masks to completely hide their faces. They walk right into the building using the keys that they had made themselves. It was time. They moved with this chilling efficiency. The employees were tied up, mouths taped shut, the crew barely said a word. They just emptied the vault, filled up their bags with over $1.5 million in cash, and poof, vanished into the night. All they left behind was a single cap and a little bit of tape. They had done it. For years, it honestly seemed like they had gotten away with it. The FBI had absolutely nothing. The crew had a pact: lay low, don't touch the money, and wait for the 6-year statute of limitations to run out. But here's where the perfect plan runs into a very imperfect problem: people. You see, the perfect crime, it turned out, had a fatal flaw. Success created paranoia. And the pressure of sitting on a fortune that you can't even spend, well, it started to create cracks in the foundation. The loyalty that held that crew together was about to be tested. And, spoiler alert, it was going to fail spectacularly. The first domino to fall was Joseph Specs O'Keefe. He and another guy from the crew get busted for a totally unrelated burglary in Pennsylvania. So while he's in prison, O'Keefe starts writing to the crew, asking for his share of the money to pay for his lawyers. But they just ignored him. They stopped seeing him as a partner. They started seeing him as a problem. And what do you do with a problem? You get rid of it. The crew made not one but 2 separate attempts to assassinate O'Keefe. In one attempt, he's dodging bullets that shatter his car's windshield. In another, he gets shot in the chest, but somehow, miraculously, he survives. The pact was officially broken. And this is where the FBI, sensing all this tension, finally makes their move. They knew O'Keefe was feeling betrayed, abandoned, and with that statute of limitations clock just ticking away, they put all their pressure on the one man who had every single reason to talk. I want you to really let this sink in. They had to wait 6 years for the state statute of limitations to expire. They made it through 5 years, 11 months, and about 20 days. They were just 11 days away from walking free with the money, completely untouchable by the law. And then, with only 11 days to go,
O'Keefe sits down with the FBI agents and says the 8 words that brought the entire operation crashing down. All right, what do you want to know? He confessed to everything. He named every single person involved.
And just like that, it was over. Within days, the net closed in. The rest of the crew were all arrested, tried, and sentenced to life in prison. The perfect crime, undone by a single broken promise, just days before they reached the finish line.
But the story has one last twist. Of the millions they stole that night, only a tiny little fraction was ever recovered. To this day, over $1.1 million from the Great Brinks robbery has never, ever been found. It's just gone.
You know, the Brinks heist is a masterclass in planning, but it's also a serious cautionary tale. It's a reminder that even the most complex, brilliant plans can be completely undone by the simplest of human flaws. If you want more real stories where intelligence, greed, and human nature all collide, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.